Welcome everybody, this is Zero to Hero Golf. My name is Jerry.
Changing out from the A-Flex, about a 6.1 torque. So that's basically a senior flex. I'm going to change to another shaft that's regular flex, about the same torque, I think it's 6.0.
Okay, let's talk about shaft specs before we get into looking at my swing. You know, the golf industry wants to tell you that if you have a really high swing speed, you need an extra stiff shaft. If you've got a fairly high swing speed, I don't know, 100 miles an hour or 95 miles an hour, you're going to need stiff shaft. If you're at 85 miles an hour, you need regular, and if you're at 70, you need a senior or a woman's flex. And it's all about flex, flex, flex. Okay, and people jump around from different manufacturers trying to find the right flex. Sometimes spend a lot of money, sometimes buying cheap shafts, whatever. But I'm here to tell you what the industry tells you is often not true at all. In fact, they don't even talk about the most important parts, the most important characteristics about a shaft. I think you're going to be very surprised what I'm about to tell you and what shaft actually worked best for me today as you see me putting in this shaft. So let's get into the specs a little bit. So there's three things that you want to know about a shaft. And the two most important are torque and weight. That's right. You didn't hear the word flex in there, did you? Torque and weight. Now, flex is important, but we're going to get to that last, because everybody already knows about flex. So torque is how much a shaft will twist. So imagine taking a wet towel and you're going to wring out the water. Well, what do? You twist it, right? So that's what shafts do. Shafts actually twist under load. Okay, so that's what torque is. And torque is measured in degrees. How much does it twist? Okay, the weight, well, that's the physical weight of the shaft. The heaviest shafts are probably over 100 grams. And the lightest shafts I've seen them down to like 45 grams. Okay, and then the last characteristics you need to be concerned about is flex. So let me tell you, for those of you that want the right shaft, you want to be focusing on the torque and the weight and worry about flex last. Okay, let's talk about the shaft real quick. The two shafts that I tried today. Okay, I have the Callaway Rogue Sub-Zero head. So they have what's called an OptiFit adapter on the end of the shaft. Very easy to switch out the head. I just, you know the deal. Undo it with the wrench, put the new one back on. Put the new shaft in. So the first shaft I tried, I think you're going to be very surprised to hear about this shaft. This is made by UST. It's the DRVR shaft. Very inexpensive shaft, by the way. It had a torque of 5.9. That's considered really pretty high, meaning there's a lot of twist in this shaft. It weighed 63 grams, so it's definitely on the lighter side. And the flex was A, meaning senior. That's right. The first shaft I hit today that you saw me swinging in the very beginning was a senior flex shaft with high torque. Those characteristics are normally reserved for senior people who have low swing speed around 70, 75. Okay. My swing speeds, last time I measured it, was about 90 to 92. It might be a little faster now since I've been doing the hinge and rehinge drills. Truth is, I don't know. I haven't measured it in a while. The second shaft that I tried, which is the one you see here in this picture, it even has a higher torque, 6.2, so it actually twists a little bit more. It weighs a little bit more, 67 grams instead of 63. That's still considered a little bit on the light side. And the flex was regular, so a little bit stiffer flex. Okay, remember, torque is twist, flex is bend. So the torque determines how much the shaft is going to twist, like that towel that you're wringing water out of, and flex is how much the shaft is going to bend. Okay? So right away with the senior flex shaft with 5.9 torque and 63 grams of weight, I immediately noticed a big difference in ball flight and distance. Before, the shaft I had in there was a stiff shaft, and it had a torque of about 4. So, and it weighed, I think it weighed, I can't remember the weight, maybe 70 grams. Okay? So it was stiff shaft, lower torque. And when I put the senior shaft in there with the higher torque and a little bit lighter weight, we'll talk about, well, I'm not going to spoil it just yet. We're going to talk about that as soon as I get done with the shaft spec stuff. We're going to talk about, look at my swing real quick, and we're going to talk about what actually happened to the range today, because it's a really, really interesting revelation. Had a really good session. Okay, so I just wanted to take some time to talk about shafts. Don't let the industry fool you. Yes, sometimes people, excuse me, who have high swing speeds are going to need a stiff or extra stiff shaft. Absolutely. But that isn't always the case. Take me, for example. Swinging 92 miles an hour, they would tell me I'm kind of borderline between regular and stiff. Well, it's just not true. And they would have me at a torque that's probably down around 4, maybe even like 3.5 or 3.7. And that's also not true for my swing. Okay? If I listen to the industry, I would still be hitting, a shaft that feels like a brick wall, like it's a steel rod, and absolutely killing my yardage and my dispersion. Okay, so do yourself a favor. Focus on the torque and weight first, then you can zero in on the flex. Okay, let's move on with my swing here. Trying to keep my hands higher. Really struggling. I'm just having a hard time keeping my hands higher in the real swing. Here I'm doing the hinge and rehinge drill, loosen it up, really trying to keep those wrists as loose as I can. My hands are, a little bit better here as far as height, and then you can see right there I lowered them again. It's just really hard for me to get my hands high, so I got to put some more time in on that. Right there they're kind of high at the top, and then here I don't get them high. They just kind of got low on me again. So gotta keep working on that. It's just a little bit unnatural for me to get my hands high enough behind my head. Okay, here's a swing. Still dealing with some issues in overswinging, and the hand's still not high enough. This is going to take time to make this swing change to not overswing and to get my hands higher in the backswing. And I'm rotating. Today was it was so hot out. It was 97 degrees out there, so it was definitely a difficult day to focus. I was having a hard time. I was sweating, and my heart was pounding a little bit because it was very, very hot. So I had a hard time really sticking with it out there. But what's very interesting is I'm looking at this slow motion footage here, and what I notice is on the backswing, I get on the outside of my foot a little bit, on my trail foot. I can see the weight right kind of back in there. Yeah, it's loading up on the outside of the edge of my foot, so that's a problem. Can't be having that going on. Okay, now let's get down to what actually happened at the range today. What really happened? Well, guess what? With both of those shafts, the senior flex and the regular flex shaft with high torque, I flew the ball about 230 in the air. Okay? Now, why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because we had a 13 mile per hour wind almost in my face. Coming out of the left a little bit, but basically in my face. Now think about that. That's a 13 mile per hour wind in my face. And I'm hitting the ball about 230 in the air. So I know what that tells me. Okay. And a few of the shots I had today, the ball landed on the green about 220 to 225, maybe somewhere 230, and rolled off the back of the green. It was motoring. And off the back of the green is easily 250. So, big breakthrough at the range today. The swing doesn't show it. I'm telling you, it's just amazing. The swing doesn't show. The swing's just going to keep getting better. I firmly believe that. As I shore up some of the inefficiencies with this swing and get it better and better, this swing's just going to keep getting better. So I'm stoked because I probably picked up with hinge and rehinge practice and with the new shaft. I haven't decided whether I'm going to go with the senior shaft or the regular shaft. because they're both really good. The only difference between the two, they're almost the same torque, and the only difference really is the flex. The senior flex is a little bit higher trajectory and a little bit more whippy, and the regular flex is a little bit lower trajectory and a little bit more predictable for dispersion perhaps, but I haven't made up my mind yet to put a little more time in both of those. But both are getting me about the same distance. And what an amazing breakthrough today at the range. If it wasn't for a 13 mile per hour wind, I'm thoroughly convinced the ball would have flew about 240, maybe even 245 in the air. Because you got to think, 13 mile per hour wind in your face is probably taking off. It's not exactly 1 yard per mile per hour, but it's at least 10 yards was taken off the driver out there today. Okay, maybe even a little bit more. So if I'm flying at 225, 230, that tells me I'm probably somewhere in the ballpark about 240, 245. Well, awesome. And I knew it right away, too. Soon as I had that senior flex shaft in there with that higher torque, within like just a few shots, right away, I'm like, this ball's going further. I could feel it off the face of the club, and I could see it in the way it was flying through the air. Just an amazing day. So I'm really happy, just so happy. Things are moving forward. This is getting really good. I'm not quite where I want to be yet, but I don't have the consistency I want. But as I can continue to practice and narrow down the inefficiencies of the swing, I'll probably play some golf. We'll just see what kind of scoring I can do. So I'm getting really excited. Listen, if you guys haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Make sure you click that notification bell down there so you can get updates of all the videos as I put them out. And give me a thumbs up too. I really appreciate that. Yeah, today was a really, really good day. It was hot, 97 degrees. Obviously, a 13 mile per hour wind. I was trying to stay hydrated out there, but hard to focus with all that heat. But it was an awesome breakthrough today. I had a great day, just amazing. Almost hitting the ball 250, so I'm very excited. All right, guys and gals, I hope you enjoyed the video today, and we'll talk to you again real soon next time.